Well, good evening, everybody. It is Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead, and it is time again, ladies and gentlemen, for another exciting,
soon-to-be classic
edition of the Big Family Homestead Monday Night Live. Boom, 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 boom. The fireworks are everywhere, especially right here.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, me. I don't even know what that means. Hey, guys, how are y'all doing tonight? You ready for an awesome show? We are talking about emergency preparedness. We're going to be talking about kits. Kits to put in your car, kits for different reasons, kits for different seasons, what you want to have in them, what you don't want to have in them. And maybe you ought to make sure that you actually have one in your car.
Yes.
Maybe with you. So we're going to be getting to that. But before we do, Mama, you need to say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And your market set go. And by the way, you should all say hi to Mama back. So if she says your name, you got to say hi right back. So like, for example, if I said, hey, Bandana Grandma would go, hi, Brad. And then and so on and so forth, right? So I'll start with a few and then you take over, okay? Here we go. Hi, Bandana Grandma. Hi, Scott Franklin. Hi, well, Scott M. Franklin. Hey, boys day out. How are you doing in music well? Alicia, good morning. It's my habit from the devotion.
Yeah.
Good morning, Alicia. Hey, Robin. See, but then you got to say hi back. See, like David. Hi, David. See? And your mark gets set, Mama. Go.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Robin. Jesus is Lord. Ruth, Michigan Daffodil, Sarah, Diana at Justice Acres, Chile. I'm not even going to finish that, but they're from Chile. That's awesome. Zane Wiggs, Jennifer Franks, Ed Healy, BB from Spain, Rich Green Acres, Becky 0512, Boys Day Out. I laughed right before the live came up because they made a comment that was really fun. Hi from Florida, Central Florida, with no actual Floridians here, or something like that. It was really funny. That is very true about Florida. David, Bandana Grandma, Margaret, Tanya, Zane, Pam, Christy, Scott, The Music Well, Alicia, Ed Baker Mom, Laura King, Jesus is Lord. Okay, everybody's saying hi back. Okay.
Which is good. Hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Tonight is also going to be super cool because we actually have a real live call-in guest who is an actual expert on survival and preparedness.
What?
Teaches classes, is an actual real live expert, and that is Bear Independent. I just love saying it that way. From the Bear Independent channel. He calls himself Bear Independent, and you're going to find out why. This guy is pretty much like a one-man tornado of butt whooping and preparedness.
That's funny. It's weird. The camera's focused on you.
I turn it.
I'm blurry.
I don't know what to say, baby.
Oh well, doesn't matter.
Let's turn it at you.
No. It's fine. Don't worry about it. What was it? There was a comment I thought it was really funny. Oh no, there was a question that I wanted to answer, and it goes into what I wanted to start off with this morning. Haha. Oh geez, he commented. So there was a question. I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry. Native Texan. Cut it out. Asked if we had done the second hay cutting yet. The answer would be no. We have not done the second hay cutting yet because today, within a 30-minute period, we received 1.5 inches of rain.
Let's see if we can see outside. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
But I put a camera up in the window.
Oh, that's nice, though.
It's not. It's pretty dark, though.
But
you can't see.
Glare.
What you can't see is that there is a ton of water covering that whole field.
Our swale, we have a swale that goes from the behind Don's yard all the way down through the middle of our fields into the creek.
The Don.
I did say the Don.
The Don.
I did say that.
The Don.
Whatever. Anyhow. But that field was actually probably 50 feet from the swale, was flooded across the road. And then in our swale all the way down to the creek was completely flooded. It was insane. Within a 30-minute period, I couldn't get over how much rain we had gotten.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's been nuts, and we just need we need 4 days of dry, because we're going to need at least 2 days to let the actual ground dry before that we could hopefully cut and then get a day or so of some degree of dry so that it'll actually bale up. And to be honest, at this point, I don't know how much we're going to get.
yeah,
We still need, I think at best tally right now, we're thinking we need at least, she thinks more. I think we need 100 bales to get through.
Bandana's grandma is asking if there's music playing.
Oh, maybe. Let's see.
I mean, it doesn't show that the jazz is going, but
There's no music playing. Just the tunes in your head, honey. Just turn them down. It's okay. Nah.
Stop. That's not nice.
I'm teasing.
That's not nice.
If there is music playing, I don't see any. So it could be the children bouncing off the wall downstairs as we sprechen sie. Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
So
yeah, I've about wanted to duct tape them to the wall today.
Yep. So what else has been going on?
We have a small Grace update.
Our daughter Grace.
Our daughter Grace, sorry. not the actual Grace from God, but okay. So for our daughter Grace, who many of you know has I would say a handful of things that
she's got a lot of medical challenges.
Got some medical issues that are going on. One of them being her hearing. Since she was little, she's had probably 4 to 5 sets of tubes in her ears because of the way her anatomy is. Her ears don't drain of fluid. So they've put many sets of tubes in. Well, that has kind of messed up her hearing because there's still perforations in her eardrums. So she doesn't get a good reading in her ear, I guess. Mm-hmm. So we went for a hearing test this past Thursday, and there's serious talk of doing what's called a Baha implant.
And no, they're not shoving sand in her ears.
No, she doesn't have very good hearing in either of her ears, and she's had a hearing aid in her left ear, for many years. And her right ear has had mild hearing loss, but when they do the bone connectivity, or I think that's what it's called. I don't know. She has excellent hearing through her bone. Behind her ear, so she's losing it in her eardrum. So there's some serious talk of in the next couple of months of having a Baha implant. So it's, yes, Alicia, it's like a cochlear, but not that in depth. So Baha stands for something, and I honestly cannot remember what it stands for. So
I could make something up.
No, please don't. It's some acronym, but
it's an acronym.
Right.
Okay. So, but when is that going to happen?
I don't have any idea.
Well, the good news...
Like I said, there's just talk of doing it right now. So they want to do another hearing test in a couple of months to see if her levels are still the same. And then they'll probably put it on the schedule.
Well, and to be honest, the thing that's just super encouraging is just that it feels like these doctors really do want to see her get better. Mm-hmm. Whereas... it was great in Cincinnati, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. Mm-hmm. And so I the only thing I can say is that it's just encouraging, and it's feels like hope.
Yeah, right.
Feels like hope. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, it just stinks, you guys, because it's one of those things where, I mean, it's your daughter.
Right.
You want her to be the best she can be. Yeah. And there's a lot of challenges that face her right now, and things that you don't wish on anybody, but she's been handling it like a trooper.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Well, okay, Alicia, you say that you prayers that she will not need it. I honestly think this would really be a big help for her in speaking, louder, speaking clearer, because, you know, what she hears is muffled.
Yeah.
So she speaks muffled. So I think it's really going to help her.
Well, it really depends on which parent she's talking to, because sometimes that could be a good thing, and sometimes it might be a bad thing. Like if they were listening to you, for example, you want them to hear clearly. Right?
Man, that was not nice.
No, she needs to listen to you clearly.
That is not entirely what you meant.
It could be like, for me, Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Like, Grace, clean up your toys. And she's just like doing whatever she's doing.
We don't have to tell Grace to clean up her toys. She cleans up her own stuff. She's 16 years old. I don't need to tell the child to clean up her toys.
You apparently don't travel down to that side of the house very often.
It's usually Grace or Ruth that has left the mess.
There is mess.
And it's Ruth.
There is most certainly mess.
Our child, okay, I love Ruth dearly. I love all of our children dearly. Ruth is an absolute tornado wherever she goes in the house. It honestly drives me mad.
No, go ahead. Vent. This is a time of healing. Let the healing begin.
I think I did already.
Let the healing begin.
No, she everywhere she goes, there's just Ruth mess everywhere. So it's Hurricane Ruth wherever she's at.
Oh, selective hearing comes with age, says E.E. Healy. And boy, oh boy, ain't that the truth.
Yeah.
When they figure out they can do it. That's the selective hearing age.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So, other stuff going on. Let's see.
Oh, we went to a wedding on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We didn't get those pictures off your phone.
We did not. What, it was Prepstetter Bob's son and a young lady, and they are an amazing couple.
They are an amazing couple. God has put those two together perfectly.
It was just, yeah, and we got to be friends with them, and it was really cool and encouraging. I'll tell you what, to me, it's just you run into so many, and this is going to sound horrible, but you'll probably know what I mean, is that you run into so many people who just seem like they're just grumpy, unhappy people, that it's so refreshing when you meet somebody who's like, hey, the world is still a good place.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Right? Yeah.
Oy la voy vey.
Oy la voy vey. You look so young. I don't know. So it was really, really a cool thing to see them get married, and more than anything, just lifting up Jesus and saying that we want Christ to be the center of our marriage.
Yeah.
And that is, that's, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Brad, I love your BC Rich Warlock. I'm an 80s rock fan. Yeah, here, we'll go to the wide camera for you, bro. I knew you'd want to see it, so I think we can see it in the wide camera. Oh, maybe not. It's over there. But,
It's right here.
it's scratch. There it is. Yeah. It's kind of not it doesn't have the good tremolo, but I've always wanted to have one of those silly things, and when I found the one straight up from the 80s, I had to save my pennies, and so that's something that I saved for a long time to get, and it's cool. But okay, now let's get straight on into preparedness, talking about kits. We have, like I said, we've got our expert Bear Independent coming on here in just a little bit. What time we got? Actually, I can't see a clock.
7:15.
Okay.
There's a clock right here.
Okay. And we're going to get him on the telephone and chat it up. But I figure what might be kind of cool is to hear different perspectives, because we've been kind of into the prepping, homesteading, learning how to do stuff on our own without help from everybody else, without having to go to a store for a million different things, for about coming up on 7 or 8 years? 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so we're not beginners, but we've got a lot to learn, and we love to learn about, preparedness topics, especially from people who know what the heck they're talking about. So, that said, you guys are going to have to help us decide what you think are good items and what are bad items, and then we'll tell you what we think. Because what has happened over the years is we'll gather things up and be like, oh, that seems like a good thing to have in our van. Because I think, let's start out like this. The very first thing I think that we need to understand about any kind of go bag, emergency kit, preparedness thing, they need to be designed for specific things, but they also need to be designed for a broader range of things. Now, what do you mean by that? That sounds like you just made no sense, Brett. Well, if I'm living in Wisconsin, I need to have a kit that's going to deal with Wisconsin stuff a lot differently than somebody that lives in Florida. Yes, there will be overlapping. Yes, there will obviously be yes, you need your Band-Aids. Yes, you need your this. Yes, you need that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that Wisconsinites will need to have on hand that you probably will never need
in Florida.
Right. Like
a coat,
hot hands,
kitty litter.
Kitty litter.
In case you get stuck on the ice.
You can spin yourself right on out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You'll need some sort of shovel, a small folding shovel, if you need to dig snow out.
There's all kinds of things. Gloves, the solar blankets.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's so many different things that you need. Blankets and extra clothing and mittens and socks and boots. If you're taking a long trip, you need to pack quite a few things, not just, your purse, you need, or your phone. You need lots of extra things in case you're 3 hours from home near Minneapolis, which that for us, that's coming here in the winter.
Correct. And it's upon us now.
It's upon us now. It's this week.
Death is coming.
This week, it's going to drop down into the 30s, folks.
It was in the 30s the other night.
No, not quite. It was 44 overnight.
You told me 39.
No.
Yes, you did.
No. Our friend told us that it was going to there was frost warnings, but it didn't actually happen. Anyway. So, yeah, there's lots of things that, folks in Wisconsin need, and the northern spots that, southern folks don't need. But then there's folks that are in the south that need things that we don't need.
Right. So, okay, now, and some of the things that we have learned are good ideas that seem like a good idea at the time, and then in application, you're like, what a piece of junk that is. Mm-hmm. Or, here's a big one, how about maybe you should actually practice to use the stuff that you have in your kit so that when emergency strikes, you'll be able to use that kit, that item. Our kids are coming inside.
I hope that's what it is.
It is.
Okay.
So let's bring out the bag, and we're gonna see, what do you guys think? Because a lot of this stuff has just gotten accumulated over time.
Should I bring the whole bag or just bring items from the bag?
Do you want to bring items?
I can bring items from the bag. Some of the things.
We'll bring a few up here, and then we'll see. Okay, this one, you guys tell me what you think about this. This was actually mailed to us by a company that wanted us to schlep their stuff, okay? This is a dynamo flashlight and, radio combo crankeroni thing here. AM, FM receiver, dynamo flashlight. It has a built-in earphone jack, carrying strap.
Ooh.
I wonder if you can, stick it on there on the old Velcro. I don't know. This thing,
not sure.
It's pretty amazing. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Let's see.
I don't.
Let's see. Turn on, off. You'd have to crank it up. We've never used this, by the way.
That's an important thing. Know what's in your bag and how to use it. And rotate the things in your bag.
It's got light. Still white.
I'll tell you a fun story. About 2 weeks ago, I started to smell something weird.
I think this is a piece of garbage.
I think it's a piece of garbage. I was smelling something kind of weird, kind of gross in the car, and I'm like, don't you smell that? It's just a nasty smell. Do you smell that? And nobody's like, what are you talking about, Mom? You're smelling things. Everybody said that. I was the only one that could smell it. And there was one day I had taken Grace to her speech therapy and I had to stop and get gas on the way home. I'm like, I am finding out what this smell is. I don't care how long it takes. So I climb in the back of the van, and we had a couple of bags of some older clothes that the boys had left.
We did think she was off her meds.
They did think I was mental.
Off the meds again, honey.
So we had a couple of garbage bags of stuff that the boys didn't want, and the older boys didn't want. It was taken to the thrift store, and I'm looking like, where is that smell? I can smell it, and I'd get closer and closer. I finally found it. It was in one of our go bags. When we had 2 cars, we had 2 go bags, one in each car. Well, when we got rid of the truck, we brought the go bag from the truck and put it in the van. Yeah, well, let's see. Do I have an extra one of those?
An extra one? You kept one?
No. It's a completely another one.
Well, you're gonna have to just tell them.
Well, no, I have what it was.
Oh,
and
it's gonna explode on you right now.
No, but we are going to get rid of it. Of course, it does say best before 2020. It was one of these cans
ching, 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 ching.
that had burst, and it was rotten, and it was oozing all over the clothes because it seeped through the bag it was in, and then into the clothing bag, the garbage bag. It was so nasty.
Now I gotta pause you for
You would have thrown up, that's for sure.
I think I can smell it.
This wasn't even close to it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna throw that one away anyway.
But I gotta pause you for a second here because I was trying to make sure that you understood that some of the stuff some of the stuff was our picks that went into the bag, and some of this stuff was a company that mailed us something 3-4 years ago, and they were like, here's a turnkey go bag thing, and they said, review it, and if you like it, you can keep it. And then they sent it, and most of it was garbage, and I said, I'm not going to review this. No. This is garbage. What do you want me to do with it? And they're like, they don't really care. So they didn't even want it back, and so they didn't even want it back, and so a lot of it just kind of got flumped in there. And I thought this would be a great way to show you how there's so much crap that you don't need to carry around too.
No.
That actually is useless.
Right.
You know, and it's just going to slow things down, muck things up, make things harder to get to the important stuff when it's time sensitive.
Right.
This, however, is some such thing that I do believe you need in every vehicle's emergency kit. And that's the road flares.
Yeah.
Emergency road flares. Not just one, but a few.
We have 3.
And you keep them in the waterproof baggie. Yep. And you keep them dry. And you know what? I could have used this the other day.
Yeah.
The other day, I don't know if you guys remember, but I made a video on it because it was like the awareness that we really need to rework our emergency kits. And what had happened was I was running to the grocery store and it was pitch dark out. And I'm driving and the radio just starts flickering on and off. I'm like, oh, okay, what's over that? Then it's pitch black, and this is a long country road, nothing. And then the lights go off on the front of the vehicle, and I'm going, okay, pucker up time. And then the vehicle shuts off, and I'm coasting. And I'm like, this is not good. Cornfield.
Right.
And ditches.
Right.
So there's no way for me to get off the road, and I'm slowing down going, uh-oh, what's going on? And I finally figured there was a way to get into this one municipality place where they keep snow plow equipment. And basically got in there just in time. But that was the awareness for me. It was like, holy smokes. When was the last time we went through our emergency kit?
Right.
And it was like,
It's been a little while.
And so let our boo-boo hopefully help you. So now continue on with goodies.
Okay,
Because
so
this, not so much.
no, that's going. And there was, who was it? Okie Storm Chaser. No canned foods, especially if the bag stays in the car. I got that. Yeah, that does make sense.
Well, we actually have the perfect solution for that because we're Thrive Life consultants. So the freeze-dried food stays in the bag, no muss, no fuss,
Right.
good for 30 years.
Right, and it doesn't need refrigeration. It doesn't need. It's already
It's
in
not
a
going to
can.
explode.
It's not going to explode. It's not, with the changing temperature, it's totally fine. So, this was one of the things we had gotten at Walmart
On a clearance
thing. But it is flashlights with the batteries in the package separate from the flashlight. So this is, just it's ready to go, ready to open. We're not having to worry about the batteries being dead. It's separate. So I like that.
I will tell you though, I've got a flashlight thing. I've got like a flashlight thing.
He says I have a bag problem. He has a flashlight problem.
This one was purchased long before we started understanding the need for good flashlights.
This was just to put in a bag.
Right.
For just in case.
This is a just in case, not our everyday carry.
Right. Oh my gosh.
We got to start using the terminology because as we get nearer to bear time, we need to make sure that we can be a little impressive, like militarily at least.
Right.
So while these are not my first choice, I do like, as Christa said, the batteries are separate from them and they're not getting away anytime soon. So you don't find that you didn't change the batteries a year or two ago and then there's nothing but crustied up, gross acid in there and the flashlight doesn't work. My first choice are those whiz-bang, all-in-one, waterproof, super bright LEDs that are rechargeable. Those are my first ones, the ones that I have around the house.
Yeah.
But these were good for just to throw in the back of the van. Now, what you got there?
Mylar blanket.
Mylar blanket.
Or space blanket, whatever you call them.
If you live, and here's the thing. Just because we live up north does not mean you don't need one of these because hypothermia. Hypothermia can set in fast, guys, and hypothermia does not take that big of a temperature drop to kill you.
Right.
And kill you quick. And one of these things could save the day.
Right.
These we've got hundreds of probably.
These are flint and steel. These are just the cheapy ones.
Magnesium stick.
Magnesium, flint and steel.
I honestly probably have about 30 of those.
Right. This one just sits in the bag. But we also have these. Every time we go to Walmart, I wouldn't say every time. Every few times we go to Walmart, we pick up one of these big packages and we throw them in a storage tub down in the basement. And we keep them keep one of these packages.
We spread them out all over the place.
Right. I think this is $2.
Well, and I saw a guy who was a survivor. I believe it was it was the Ukrainian conflict back in it was like the 90s, and he lived through it. And he said that one of the most valuable things you could get was a lighter. Because people couldn't, heat couldn't do anything with it,
right.
And so without it, rather.
Right.
Now, this was a fun thing that this was one of my first YouTube projects.
Yeah.
And this is one of those toilet roll of toilet paper in alcohol burner cans.
Yep.
You just take the core out of a toilet paper roll, you mash it right down in there, and then you put a bunch of...
you pour alcohol in it.
Yeah, regular rubbing alcohol.
You keep pouring it on there until the toilet paper has absorbed all of the alcohol.
Yep, then you nail her shut, and then you pop this thing open, and it will burn a hot flame for a long time. Now, I don't recommend using these inside a vehicle, But if you were stuck and you had to be outside for a while, this would really, really throw off some serious BTUs.
Right.
And it cost me, I think the can was $3.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And so like $4 maybe.
I remember when the boys were home last Christmas, they went fishing, and they took one with them.
Oh, Okie, you're right. You are correct. You're correct. I think you mean the Balkans. Yep, that's correct. That is correct. Okay. A convict stove. This is Bumblebee Junction.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, this is something that I'm going to let you talk about, but bears.
I like. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to
No.
blow
Then
the thunder.
Let's not talk about this then.
Let's just say that you need one.
Yes. Okay.
You need one of
You need
these,
one of those.
but you need a better one. And don't look at that name.
Oh. That's
Yeah.
funny. That was a kit that was sent to us, and these are something that we definitely need up here in Wisconsin. So.
Okay.
The hand warmers, definitely.
We've had enough
necessary.
of this unprofessionalism between.
Oh wait, we can't forget.
It's time.
We can't forget about the ice cream.
Oh, you got to have astronaut ice cream. Except it's the wrong company, Mama.
I know, this is old. This is old.
We should give it away. Somebody want that thing?
No, it's expired.
Perfect. Who wants expired
2017
freeze-dried ice cream? I'm going to call Bear Independent. I got to put on the headphones to do so. Okay. So let's do this. Let's see. He's there. He said, "Hello, is this Bear Independent?" What's up, Rockstar? How you doing, man? You got potpourri.
And yeah, nice glass of wine, you know.
A Courvoisier.
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go.
What's up, brother?
Well, we were talking about preparedness kits, something to have on you, have something to have in the car, and honestly, as we were putting this show together, it was like, you know what? I'll bet you Bear has something that's vastly better than what we've put together. And sure enough, we went to your website and it was like, well, shoot, we just got to get him on the phone. And you just happen to be available. So let's talk about preparedness kits. Give me the 411, and I've got your actual website up on screen right now. So they're seeing the bare minimum kit, that FAC, and the active shooter response. But give us the basics. And you know what? Why should we listen to you at all? Give us your expertise, man.
Well, I don't know anything. I've never been anywhere, and I've never done anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I just basically started a YouTube channel.
Just like most of us.
Just like most. I was like, you know what, honey? I'm doing it. I'm going to go run my face on the internet. And so here I am.
There you go.
Man, I've been in the prepping game longer than I knew it was called prepping. I've been around and done some things, and I actually own 3 different businesses that revolve around preparedness, and they're not the kind of thing where it's like, hey, let's create a sales funnel and monetize every relationship I've ever had. No, we just try and help people to the best of our ability. And so, you know, I'm blessed to have had lots of life experiences, and I'm blessed to have had the ability to deploy self-awareness while having those experiences and then learn from them. And so I know some things. That's why I think you should listen to me. You don't have to, but I think you could probably learn a thing or two if you did. And that's why we started the Bear Independent channel. So
excellent. So, okay, now I'm going to try and boost your audio here just a little bit because people are saying you're a little bit on the shallow side.
I can yell real loud.
I have no doubt that you have got some serious grunt to your bearish ways. So tell me, what are the basics that you feel like for an everyday, I have it in my car, what should be the basic items that everybody should, bar none, have to have?
So I'm a really big fan of Dave Canterbury's 5 C's of survival, and how you apply these 5 C's is entirely up to you. But cutting tool, you should have a good knife. A knife is the number one tool that we use to interface within our environment, especially in an air quote survival situation. So cutting tool, you know, whether that's an axe, a knife, a hatchet, a saw, a multi-tool, whatever works for your specific environment, because there is no, you know, quick fix for preparedness that you have to take concepts and apply concepts, not, some guy on the internet said, and I'm going to do exactly what he said. Well, that guy doesn't live in your climate. He doesn't have your life experiences. He doesn't have your circumstances. So cutting tool, cordage, man, paracord, mason line, jute twine, whatever, the ability to tie something up, duct tape, combustion. I saw Christa was showing those packages of lighters. I'm all over lighters because I can make a friction fire, but I'd rather just flick my Bic.
Right.
And when it matters, let's just use the lighter. And then the ferro rod, and then the magnesium bar, and then we'll make a friction fire because, time, calories, energy. So container is another one of the 5 C's. It's one of those things that's pretty much impossible to make out in the wild. If you need a container, man, you're so much better off just having one rather than trying to create one. So you've got cutting tool, combustion, cordage, container, and then cover. Cover is going to be anything that's in between you and the environment. So as you were talking about those Mylar space blankets up where you're at, those make a lot of sense to have because people go, oh, it's cold. But actually, they make sense to have everywhere, even if you are in Florida, because if you have traumatic bleeding, if you have an arterial bleed, critical blood loss, or there's lots of things actually that can put somebody into shock. And when that happens, having a blanket like that you can cover them with it can literally save a life. And so I like going with those 5 C's first, cutting tool, combustion, cordage, container, cover, have those on your person or in your vehicle at all times. And then you can, whatever that looks like in your life, if you like a GI canteen and a roll of duct tape, cool. If you like a Nalgene bottle and paracord, cool. It's, there is not one ring to rule them all when it comes to preparedness. It's the concepts that we apply, not the specificity. So.
Wow, and I'm seeing here that you specifically, you work with other companies, but this is kits, or these rather are kits that you have handpicked and said these kits they're specific for certain things, but then generals for everything. But talk a little bit about the kits that you have here.
So I literally assemble those with my own 2 hands. And it sounds, to some people, it's a throwaway line, but I literally pray over each kit as well, that hopefully you never need to use these. And if you do need to use those, Godspeed, get the job done, save a life. That we know of, in the last few months, our kits have saved 5 lives, which I think is amazing. They're deployed currently with 2 different units overseas for R&D currently. They've been purchased by fire departments and SWAT teams. They've been purchased by businesses and churches and schools because they're purpose built from the ground up to save lives. And so everything that's in there has been specifically selected by myself and by my partner, Travis, the NWA prepper at adventurefrontier.com, that we want to be able to have everything we need on hand to save lives. That if somebody has an arterial bleed, a gunshot wound, a sucking chest wound, something like that, a major trauma, that we have everything at our fingertips that we need, and it's intuitive. And then the pouches themselves are hand sewn by a dear friend of mine and brother Cody at Sojourn Gear. And so there's lots of places you can get first aid kits, but you're not going to get a kit that has been purpose built for trauma medicine, that's been prayed over, assembled, and constructed by American hands and fulfilled in the United States of America by 3 people who give a damn anywhere else. And so that's what sets our kits aside as compared to everybody else that's really going with a price point argument. Ours is, man, you can get the stuff that we sell anywhere. That's not the point. It's the intent of our heart that matters when we put these kits together, because it's the best part of my day when I get an email or a phone call from somebody and they're like, I just saved a guy's life with your kit. This is incredible. I'm like, all right, take a deep breath, man. That's awesome, but simmer down. So,
Well,
go ahead.
well, what I was going to say is it sure is a doggone shame that I don't have one in my hands right now that I could show the people, to say,
I'll call the guy in the shipping department
well,
and get you one.
well, then you could have your people call my people, and then they could do lunch, and then
Okay.
and they can work it out. But what I really wanted to say was, I'm telling you guys about these kits not because I'm making a penny. I'm not at all. I called up Bear just before the show started, and I said, "Do you sell these things? Because I'd really like to bless you in getting these into as many hands as we can, kind of thing. And I don't want anything out of the deal at all. But please tell the people where they can get them, how they can get them." And I'm seeing in the chat here, there's a lot of people that are saying, "Hey, we'd really like to see these in every school classroom in the country."
Yep.
And I think that's a fabulous idea. I would not know how to go about that, but tell people about the kits, where they can get them, and
Sure.
how they could contact you if they've got $1 million and they want to seed a bunch of these kits all around the country.
Absolutely, brother, and bless you for this. Thank you. You can go to bearindependent.com. There are precisely 0 A's in the word independent. It's all E's. Bearindependent.com, and there's a little tab up top. You can click shop, or you can go to adventurefrontier.com. Adventurefrontier.com, and check them out there as well. And I make $20 on each kit. I make a $20 bill. That's my markup for assembling them and then shipping them out. And I get emails all the time from people who are like, "Hey man, we're on a tight budget. Is there any discount you can give me?" I'm like, "Yep, I can go as deep as $20." Because especially when it comes to churches and schools, I want good kits in the hand of good people that they can save a life if they need to. And so, when it comes to schools, and we're seeing a rise of schools and churches contacting us organically saying, "We have a budget for this, but we don't know what we need. So please tell us what we need." And so that active shooter response kit was designed explicitly to deal with an active shooter scenario, to be mounted next to the door in a classroom, that if you start hearing gunshots, you run to the door, you lock the door, you rip the kit off the wall and retreat to the blind corner of the room. That if something happens, you're holding a trauma kit. It's in your hands. And the reason that people die in mass shootings is not because they get shot. It's because it takes anywhere between 35 minutes and 3 hours and 45 minutes for SWAT teams to clear the building and then EMS to come in behind them and render aid. And so what our kits do is buy time, that you can patch up the person who's been wounded. You can address that sucking chest wound. You can address that arterial bleed. You can address the shock. You can clot the wound. You can do all of these things with our kits so that we're not losing lives, we're saving lives. And, if we do custom pricing for anything over 10 kits, and you can just email me through the website, bearindependent.com, and ask, just reach out to me. I'm happy to work with anybody. Again, my goal is not to make a buck on this. My goal is to get good kits in the hands of good people so that we're saving lives.
Amen. And I would like to add, once again, we're not financially benefiting from this. It's just because we honestly believe in getting these to as many people as we can. However, I'd like to also echo something that I know you'd be screaming, is that these kits are great, but without training, they're not
Yes.
gonna do much.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, okay, if anybody buys this, how are they going to know how to use it?
Well, I happen to know a preparedness expert who can teach you.
Oh.
So one of the things that we're finding with the schools and the churches is that there's absolutely a training element that is required.
Yep.
And so for large groups of people, we will go in and we will train you. And if not us, we've had wonderful success with partnering with local EMS and fire departments in the districts that these kits are going to, and having them teach a stop the bleed class. And there's actually increasing protocol for things like the active shooter response classes and all of that. But just the lay person who doesn't know, they get a kit and it's got chest seals, a nasal pharyngeal airway, and a 14 gauge decompression needle. And they're looking at it going, "What the heck is all this crap?" Contact the Red Cross. take a trauma medical class or a stop the bleed class. You can also Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever your preferred search engine is, the word TCCC, TCCC, Tango Charlie Charlie Charlie, and then your zip code. And that is Tactical Combat Casualty Care. And that will teach you all the things that we've already described thus far. And if you can't find any of that, walk into your local EMS or fire department, say, I have this kit and I need help, and they will help you. So,
Amen.
and the Red Cross offers courses that are pretty dang good for free. It's a great place to start.
So TCC, and I would like to point out there are absolutely 0 A's in TCC.
It's actually 3
correct.
C's.
Precisely 0.
Precisely 0.
Right.
So, okay, well, that answers a lot of questions. And once again, folks, please jump on over there and check this out. It's obvious that he's not making a ton of money on these things either, and it's obviously a labor of love. And so,
Brett, I want to add something real quick.
Yes.
I would love it if you bought my kit, but I would love much more that you buy a kit. Get a kit that has real capability, whether it's mine or anybody else's. And there are many good kits on the market. I care more that you get a good kit than you get my good kit.
Yeah.
So I really want people to not needlessly die. That's the point of this business. That's why we do it. And that's why we train people up this way. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, and praise God, and thank you so very, very much for what you're doing, man, because in all honesty, I don't want to inflate your head any more than it already is, because dear Lord in heaven. But we need more people out there doing this. We need more people who are willing to say, you know what, it's not always about the money. It really is about taking care of your fellow man. And so for that, it's very, I hate to say it, but it's very rare that we meet people like where I can just say, I really trust that you're going to do what you're going to do, and I'm glad that you're out there doing it, and that's why I want to support you. So thank you.
Bless you, brother. Thank you. And thank you, Christa. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Bear.
You have a great night, brother.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, now we can unmask the headphones.
Here now. Ugh.
Yeah. So I told you we were going to have a special. Hold on, you can leave it.
No, it's just in the way.
I told you we were going to have a special time of awesomeness with Bear Independent.
You have to say it like that.
Yeah. And I think that he's honestly kind of topped us off there, because I don't feel like I want to go back into our bag of tricks now.
No, because our bag of tricks is not very good anymore.
Our bag of tricks needs desperate help.
It really does. And we're going to need to sit down and really, make a list of the items that we really need, for up here in the winter, and maybe have 2 sets of I just read gunshots. 2 separate sets of gunshots. No, 2 separate sets of go bags, so that we have a winter and a summer one.
Yeah. And so I think what we're going to do, guys, is what we'll do is between now and the next couple of weeks, we're going to assemble our own go bag. I'm going to get with some experts like Tyler Woods, who's here. I see him here, like Bear, and some other folks that I know who've been doing this a long time, military friends, and say, okay, what should we put in this bag? Mm-hmm. And then acquire the right items, and then we'll come back and share with you, because a lot of the stuff we've got, like I said, was just mishmash stuff that we kept throwing in there.
Right, because we're like, oh, well, I think we need this or we need that, but we need, excuse me, we need to really narrow down what we truly need.
Well, and get rid of the garbage that's in the bag.
Right.
And so hopefully that this time has been something that's been useful to you, and not just merely entertainment with the rugged manliness that Bear and I have demonstrated. Oh, Bumblebee Junction says, can you say Bear Independent but with more explosions? I think there should be explosions when we say Bear Independent. And by the way, it is bearindependent.com. So.
I'm getting a link, guys.
Are you getting the link?
Yes.
Well, then I was going to say goodbye.
Done.
But There you go.
Link done.
Link to
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend.
Just click on shop.
And he's got all those kits there.
Yep.
Yeah, Jesus is Lord is saying Pastor Joe Fox has great ideas also. He's one of the people I would be calling.
Right.
He's one of the people I'd be like,
Okay.
bro,
Yeah.
hook me up.
Right. Well, and you have to make a list of the needs for your family. You know, it can't just be, you know, willy-nilly like we've done.
Yeah.
It's got to be specific. Like, okay, you know, our daughter Grace has had pulmonary lung issues, right? Well, I have always carried a small, you know, battery-powered nebulizer.
She gets sick a lot.
This is something that, and not just her, you know, you have had lung issues. I've had lung issues before. You know, so this is something that is necessary for our family.
Yep. So, well, with that, guys, don't be bashful. Go on over to the Bear Independent channel and sub it up. Watch some of the videos.
Yep.
Pastor Joe Fox is Viking preparedness. We're big fans. I just about every dang thing I see of his, I go, man, that's solid wisdom. And so I would encourage you to check them out, watch some videos. And don't forget to make sure you're subscribed to us too, if you don't mind, and hit that notification bell.
Yep.
YouTube's been doing funky things lately, and a lot of people aren't getting notified when videos come out. And so, with that, take us out, Mama.
No.
You're not going to sing a song?
Right.
You're not going to sing a song?
Make a joyful noise? No.
Not going to sing a song?
No.
Well, we are a family of believers, guys, and we do like to end our live broadcast with a prayer. But I don't feel like Jesus is the kind of God that will beat you over the head and say, you must submit, because he's not.
No.
So if you're not of that mindset, we don't want to make you feel like you're being forced into anything or a bait and switch or any of that nonsense, because it's just not true. So if that's you, you can head on out, and hopefully we'll see you back next week. But for the rest of you who hang out, we're just going to say a quick prayer, and we're going to say goodnight after that.
Yep.
So here we go. Father God, we come before you today, and I thank you so very much for Bear and his ministry to help others with these medical preparations. And Lord, I ask that you just bless him in it, that it would be something that they would be able to sow into a lot of lives and protect a lot of your precious children. Lord, also, I thank you so very much for each and every one of these people that have come tonight. And I know that we're all in different situations, and we struggle, and we have good days and bad days just like everybody. But I would just ask that you would just love on each and every one of your precious children tonight, and let them know that you're still here, you still care, you'll never leave them, you'll never forsake them. And just give them a big old hug and say, you're mine, and I'll never let you go. Thank you, Jesus, for the sacrifice you made for us to be with you. It's in your holy and precious name we pray. Amen. Alrighty, guys. You have an awesome night.
Yep.
Awesome night. So,
Good night.
good night. Wait a minute. Where's the thing now? I don't even know.
What thing?
I don't know. We gotta go like here and then go like that. Bye.